Welcome back, everybody, to the Retro Blood as we continue this 1980s horror killer island month here on the Retro Blood, talking some remote places of the world, talking some hidden lands of death and destruction, talking some cannibalistic creatures who could be lurking at this remote island. Because up next, we are talking some kids or middle-aged adults who want to go explore on an island that this girl tells them to go to, and the one girl, Carol, who's reading tarot cards, tells them not to because we don't listen to people who do tarot cards.
Nope.
If y'all like Italian cheap ass movies that are apparently banned for being a snuff film, even though there's nothing snuff about this film at all. If y'all like very weird backstories that happen all at the end of the film, and if y'all like the good old fetus bag of eating, then this is a review for you, brother, because the Retro Blood is talking all about this movie. Actually has a bunch of different titles. Let's see. We called it the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
Okay, that was one of them. There's another one that was called what's that one? What's it called again? Anthropologist?
I have no idea how to say that. I think it's Antropophagus.
Yeah, Antropophagus, really sure. Brother.
That's how I knew it. So when you said we were going to watch Grim Reaper, I didn't know what the fuck you're talking about.
AKA fetus bag. That's what I named it. That's what I named the movie.
Also, Savage Island.
Savage Island is one of them too, and there's another one that was actually on the credits of this film. It was the yes, yeah, you got it. No, it was the Antropophagus, the Beast.
Yeah.
So it's 5 different names for this fucking film.
Yep.
J.H. Alison, James Kline, what's happening, Alison? How's your island experience going with a maniac with very bad makeup trying to eat fetus bags? How's that going for you?
It's going pretty good. We came off from a classic last week with the fog, jumping right into Antropophagus. I actually, I thought this is a movie that I've known about for a long time, but I've never seen it. I knew it more by reputation than anything else.
How the fuck did we find this thing?
Yes, Severin released this on Blu-ray, but this is a movie I've always wanted to see. I never got around to doing it. But now we're gonna do it for the show, so here we are.
Well, were you satisfied?
I was
watching this movie.
I was
here on there. Okay, first of all, I thought this movie was kind of boring, and I could not believe it got banned. When I was watching half the film, I was like, "How the fuck was this banned?" I mean, we barely got any blood. All we get into some drama. We had this really fucking plastic mannequin head in a bucket.
Okay, it got banned because of the fetus eating scene.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Until the fetus eating scene, I was like, okay, now I can see that it got banned around here in these streets. Okay, but other than that, I was like, how did this shit get banned? We got some fucking plastic bones hanging around everywhere. All right,
yeah,
we got fucking Carol and her tarot cards warning people. I was like, this is the most horror movie, it was just horror movie 101 in this film to me.
Yeah, I mean, it is known for it kind of escalated the gore factor in some ways. That fetus eating scene was something that nobody had really ever done before. But
and not since I was some Terrifier shit on there.
And not since, but yeah, but it was I don't know. I think it's one of those things where the movie is exaggerated a little bit. It's not as nearly as shocking as as its reputation.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because we'll talk about it when it comes to the history segment of who booked this shit.
Yeah,
because it was banned. It was banned in England for 18 years.
Yeah, it was a video nasty, which we've talked about a lot of the video.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of it, which makes so this one was an early 1980s film, so I get it where we don't have the cinematography that we have today or even later on in the 80s that we'll be seeing. So I can get all that. I can get okay, yeah, this film, there's some fucked up shit we don't want to show the public. But one of the descriptions of the film was that it was like a snuff film. People thought it was a snuff film. I'm like, brother, there's nothing snuff about this shit at all. Okay, even the fetus scene, which we'll describe in great detail when I get there. Wait till I get there. Okay, but first of all, when I watch that scene, like it was so funny to me that this shit cannot even happen, like in physical life at all, about how to even happen at all. Okay,
no, it's not even possible.
And then like most of like the blood or whatever, it's just like fucking so like this film wasn't doing it for me because it didn't have that Italian charm that I like so much. There was no eye gouging. Where was that?
I know, no eye gouging.
We had no suave guy. All the Italian films have suave guys. Where was he? What, Alan? That little asshole? Who cares about Alan?
That's as close to suave as we're gonna get in this movie.
Yeah. And then like, okay, it was like a half like Italian German film, I guess. But like, I don't know. I wasn't digging it, but like I said, we'll talk about it. We'll discuss. That's what we do on the Retro Blood. We discuss while we drink beer, which I am doing right now.
I'm drinking water, but yeah, it's good enough.
That's right. You know, and the island, man. When you're stuck on an island like we are right now, you need water and beer. So we're both doing what we gotta do. So, like every Retro Blood, we will get into what was going on in the world of pro wrestling and the metal music around the release date of this many-titled film. Okay. And we're going to talk about the American release date, which is October 9th, 1980. So we're back in the 80s, 1980, straight up 1980.
1981.
Oh, yeah, 1981. Sorry. Yes.
It was released in the United States in 1981. Yes.
Yes, in the Italian version was in 1980, but this one did, it did come out in the US around 1981. So I got a couple things. I mainly got this pro wrestling thing because I thought it was pretty interesting, and I actually watched this match. You could actually find this match on YouTube. Let me pull up my notes here. So check this one out, Alison, and all of our listeners that have been listening to us for a while. You know, they're gonna appreciate this match over here. And, I'll tell everybody where to find it too on the YouTube. Okay. Yes, you're close though. It is a Retro Blood regular.
Okay.
All right. So it's the WWF.
Yeah.
1981. Okay. So we already know who the big wigs are. You know what I mean? We got Bob Backlund doing his thing. I think Iron Sheik was kind of close during this time. But one of the biggest stars around the wrestling world around this time was one André the Giant.
Yes.
He was here doing his thing. Okay. And he check out this match. I mean, if this was not a Retro Blood match, I don't know what is.
Right.
Because we have André the Giant versus Killer Khan. Okay.
Okay.
In a Mongolian stretcher match.
Oh.
I mean, what? So are we just done? I mean, what more could we do? For Retro Blood
do you win by putting your opponent on the Mongolian stretcher?
Yes.
You're not getting André on a Mongolian stretcher.
Okay, hold on. So hold on. So I found this match.
Okay.
I was like, there's no way I could just talk about it and not watch this shit. So if you go on the YouTube, which we're on right now, thanks everybody for joining us here on the YouTube. If you go on YouTube and you do André the Giant versus the Killer Khan, you'll find that match. André the Giant versus Killer Khan and a Mongolian stretcher match. Okay. Bro, this time it's like 10 minutes. It's like 10, 15 minutes. And I could not believe, first of all, I could not believe when I was watching this.
Yeah.
Like how agile André the Giant was back in the day. You know, he moved quick. Like he was like a Bam Bam. He's like moving quick for a big guy. He was doing like headbutts. He was doing splashes. He was doing a pile driver. He did a fucking pile driver on Killer Khan. I was like, holy shit. They were going wrestling pretty fast. And this stretcher was a lot different than we would see like stretcher matches in the WWE, where they would have like the stretcher match in the WWE, you would actually have the stretcher on the outside. Okay. And you would fight in the ring side. And then you basically would just like, you would put him on the stretcher and then you would push him like past the yellow line. If you got him past the yellow line, you would win.
All right.
This one was different, brother. This is a Mongolian stretcher match. That means that shit's different.
That's how I was going to ask. How is this different?
So you had to beat your opponent's ass in the ring. Okay. And they were going back and forth. Killer Khan was getting some good strikes, but André used his deadly splash. He splashed him like twice.
All right.
And he basically just rolled him on to the stretcher, which they told us that the stretcher was fitted for André's size.
Sure thing.
It didn't really look like it, but he was. Okay. And this is also to the whole thing about this match too was Killer Khan worked over Andre's ankle before. So that's why they even had the whole match. And this is also to Andre also put up his undefeated streak during this match as well too. Of course, Killer Khan didn't win. He got splashed. He got rolled onto the stretcher.
Right.
And they physically just stretchered him out.
Oh, of course.
Just out of there. And then Andre posed for a little bit and we're good. But you can find the match on YouTube. It's really quick watch. It's actually pretty fun. And, you know, for a lot of like wrestling fans who've seen Andre, like, you know, during WrestleMania 3 or anytime after that, you know, the guy's slow, could barely fucking move. But if you watch early Andre, I mean, man, I was so surprised. I was just like, because I don't watch early Andre that much, but I was just very surprised about how agile he was, you know?
Yes. So, Andre, you know, and like, because you're right, that's how I know Andre too. Like when he was older and slower, and he just didn't move around much. But yeah, in his early days, like he was, you know, he was big. You know, he was big and he was fast and he could move around. He was very imposing. Yeah. That's why he was always an event player somewhere. But yeah, I mean, like even when he's, I don't know if you've seen it, but he in the first Bigfoot episode of $6 Million Man, he's played by André the Giant.
Oh, okay, nice.
And you know, even when he's moving around in that, he looks very agile, and that was like in the 75 or 6 or something like that. So yeah,
just moving on around. Yeah. Do you think after his Mongolian stretcher match that Andre was like rushing to the US theater to go see the Grim Reaper, the Killer Island, Savage Island? Think he was watching?
He was probably thinking, oh, they should have had me play the Cannibal.
Bro, I'm telling you,
that would have been amazing if you know that scene where he's like in the bedroom, and she turns around and sees him. Like if that had been André the Giant with his long hair at the time, that would have been awesome.
Oh my god, just imagine that with his French accent.
Yeah,
give me your fetus.
Give me
bag.
I'll eat your fetus.
All right, give me the flesh.
Yeah,
I can't really do a French one.
No, I don't know French accent. Oh,
Major, give me your fetus. I don't know.
Yeah, to me, the French accent is basically Pepe Le Pew from the Warner Brothers cartoons. That's to me, that's how French people speak. So I don't know.
So moving on.
Yeah.
For the Retro Blood, driving in the Trans Am, going out to the movie theater. Going to be watching some Island. One cannibal. I can't even see there's multiple cannibals. There's like one cannibal.
There was one cannibal, yeah.
So, what are we gonna be listening to?
We're gonna listen to Blue Öyster Cult.
Ooh,
which is one of the only probably chances we'll get to talk about this band. So I'm really glad that it was brought up, because Blue Öyster Cult is not necessarily metal, but you would call them hard rock, I guess.
Well, hold on.
But
before you go, they are not metal, but there's been a shit ton of metal bands who have covered their songs. So that counts.
Yep. And they're hugely influential in the metal scene.
Exactly. Yes.
In fact, you know, Ghost is hugely influenced by Blue Öyster Cult.
Yes.
So there, you know, Ghost is basically like a Blue Öyster Cult type, occult type band, if you will. But they were hugely influenced by Blue Öyster Cult. So 1981 was the tour for Fire of Unknown Origin, which is like the last hoorah, if you will, of Blue Öyster Cult. It was their last hit album. They would fade from popularity very quickly after this. But they were on tour for that album, and Fire of Unknown Origin had Burnin' For You, which I'm sure isn't a song that you've heard. That's one of their most famous songs. That and Don't Fear the Reaper, I guess, are their two big ones. But they were on tour for Fire of Unknown Origin, and halfway through this tour, they fired their drummer, Albert Bouchard, and replaced him. And after that, even though, you know, he wasn't a main songwriting person, although he did write music, but after that, they just kind of, for some reason, they just kind of fell off like that. They were huge at this time. And then we were talking about on the day this movie came out, they were playing in Pembroke Pines, Florida, at the Hollywood Sportatorium, which is a famous concert venue that I never was able to attend, but it's right outside Miami, and I think it closed in like 1991 or something like that. But everybody in the 60s, 70s, 80s played there. So if you were
Okay.
going to go, if you lived in Miami and you were going to see Iron Maiden, you were going to go to the Sportatorium to see him. But I don't know a lot about the Sportatorium itself, other than I have a friend of mine who lived in Miami in the 70s and the 80s and saw a bunch of great bands there. He saw Pink Floyd there in 1973 and 74. And he said that it was very hot inside the
I
building.
can imagine. It probably
Yeah,
was.
like it had no air conditioning in the summertime in Miami, Florida. I'm sure it was hot as fuck in
Do you
there.
think they did wrestling in there too?
I think they did,
Yeah.
but that's something that I was trying to find out, and um,
Because a lot of those venues they would do like they would probably they'd be fitted for both. I
yeah,
would
I mean,
imagine.
I'm guessing that's kind of why it was called a sportatorium.
Yeah.
But I mostly know it as a concert venue. Like I can't think of um like I can't think of any famous wrestling matches that happened there. It did have like hockey there for a while. But basically it was intended to, I think it was intended to have sports in it, but it became known as one of the most famous concert venues of the 70s and the 80s. Um, and it's like what they call a rock mecca. Like it's like one of those buildings that that was like legendary, like Madison Square Garden. It's like the Madison Square Garden of Miami,
That's pretty cool.
except it had no air conditioning. It was literally just a building.
You gotta handle that Florida heat, man.
Yeah, exactly,
All right.
exactly. But yeah, it was huge. It held like 15,000 people, which in the 70s that was a big venue.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but they were playing. They played several nights there. Part of their live album, which is called Extraterrestrial Live, which came out the next year, was recorded at the Sportatorium the week that this movie came out. But yeah, this was like the last hurrah of Blue Öyster Cult. Have you listened to Blue Öyster Cult a lot or not really? I mean, I'm sure you've
So
heard Don't
like,
Fear the Reaper.
yeah, I mean, I've heard that song, obviously. A bunch of bands that cover that song.
Yeah,
You know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm honest on here.
you
All
are.
right. I'm an honest man. So the first time I actually heard Blue Oyster Cult was actually through a cover. All right. Which
Okay.
was when the band Him, when they
Mm-hmm.
covered Don't Fear the Reaper.
Yeah.
I looked it up, I was like, oh shit, this is from a different band. Even though like Blue Oyster Cult's been out way before they were.
Oh,
But
sure.
I listen
Yeah.
to a couple of their stuff. I like them. I think they're definitely a nice like jam kind of band. You know what I mean? I don't know too much about them, so I can't like say all these like sweet memories I have about them. But I definitely know what I do know about them is a lot of bands have covered their stuff. All right, and they
Yes.
have obviously like we're talking about before have been influenced by the band, even though they're not necessarily like heavy metal or like metal style music.
Mm,
They have influenced the metal scene and
absolutely.
culture a lot with their stuff on there. So, but like every retro blood for our podcast listeners, we will play some Blue
Blue
Oyster
Öyster Cult.
Cults at
Yep.
the end. Probably Don't Fear That Reaper song.
Might as well.
I mean, you could kind of like make that for this movie, even though we are fearing the Reaper, who is apparently some rich billionaire guy who ate his son and wife.
Yeah.
So,
Well, don't spoil it for the people.
and then, oh, come
Um,
on, who the fuck? First of all, I'm gonna do two things. You've had to watch this movie by now, all right?
okay.
If
Yeah.
you know what I mean, like we always encourage people to watch the movie and then listen to us. But if you
Yeah.
haven't, that's cool. But then I'll just do like little spoiler hints before we get to the main course.
Yeah. The main chorus. I see what you did there.
See what I did there?
I did want to say though that one other
Go ahead.
thing that I know about the Sportatorium that I forgot to mention was it was one of the only venues that actually had indoor rain delays because the building was so shitty that it would leak. So when you get those crazy like southern Florida rains, they would actually have rain delays on concerts because the roof would leak so bad that they couldn't have the show. So
Just
yeah,
imagine, man.
it was a shithole, but it's like one of those like lovable, famous shitholes.
I think there's only one time,
Mm-hmm.
no, twice, two times that I've been to a show that like got rained out in a way.
Yeah.
All right. In a way where the show was still happening, but some bands didn't perform or they had cut the time short. The first one is there was like this tour, Sounds of the Underground, that came
Mm-hmm.
to Dallas. And towards the end of the show, it started to rain. I think it was right after like High on Fire set or something. It
Okay.
rained. So it rained, and then they stopped the thing for like almost an hour and a half. All right. And then Opeth was up next.
Okay.
Okay. And their songs are so fucking long that they only could play like one song. All right. And then after the one song, that's when I believe it was Lamb of God played after that. They closed it. But yeah, rain kind of stopped it from a bunch of bands playing their sets. And then the other time is when I saw the 69 Eyes over here in Dallas at the I don't think it's there anymore. It's called like Gas Monkey Bar and Grill.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday 13 was supposed to be with them, but they canceled because it was too much rain and our set couldn't handle it.
No,
So that's the only time I've seen rained out. But like I never had like someone just get like the whole tour just stop because it rained.
Yes, but yeah, that is like one of those just crazy things that can happen. Rain delays.
Good old rain delays, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of rain delays,
yeah,
let's get into this. Who booked this shit, brother?
Yeah, who booked this shit?
Oh my god, there's some. Wait till you all hear this story I found.
JoeDAmato booked this shit.
Yes, we have JoeDAmato.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he co-wrote it with George Eastman.
Yep.
Which was, I think it was an alias because there was like some Italian guy that named himself that. But check out this story. I thought this one was hilarious to start us off. Well, I guess before then, Joe. Let's see, what do we know him from?
He made a movie called Absurd.
Yes.
And he made a movie. He made some later on movies that I liked. He made Witchery.
There you go.
Yeah, and he made La Casa 3, which is like an Italian sequel to Evil Dead, kind of.
Oh, okay.
He made that movie Killing Birds, which was one of the zombie sequels. Not really, but it was one of those movies. Remember how we talked about how all those movies were lumped in as zombie sequels?
Yeah.
Well, Killing Birds was one of them. So he made he's also known as making those a lot of those Emmanuel movies. They're like softcore, like sex movies, kind of sexploitation films.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and he made quite a few of those as well.
So, like I said, he co-wrote this with a guy named George Eastman.
Yeah, that is a pseudonym, by the way.
That is.
Yes. He always went by George Eastman, but I believe his real name is Luigi Montefiore or something like that.
Yes, you got it right. Yes, yeah, Luigi Montefiore.
Pulled that off the top of my head too.
That's good, man. I like that. Look at that. The encyclopedia over there.
The encyclopedia of shitty horror movies.
Oh, we do, bro. All right. So this story, I thought it was hilarious when I read it. I could not believe this. And like, I could feel the pain for this one. Like, I could feel like if I showed one of my shitty movies, you know what I mean, to a big ass audience, like this exact thing would happen. And to be honest with you, like, okay, if this thing happened nowadays, this movie would blow up. All right. But back then, like, you know, it wouldn't blow up. And I'll explain why.
Yeah.
All right. So we had Luigi, aka George.
Yeah.
Who co-wrote and co-produced this movie. Apparently, he was also the guy who betrayed the cannibal guy.
Really? Wow. Yeah. Okay.
So apparently
he is an actor. Like he's more famous as an actor than he is he's more famous as an actor than he is a writer. But he was an actor in like the 60s and the 70s, and then he wrote and produced a bunch of movies too around this.
So apparently, he was the main killer.
But
monster
he played the
killer.
cannibal. Yeah, Klaus.
He played the cannibal. Klaus. Killer Klaus.
Killer Klaus.
But Killer Klaus
like
and Killer Clown. Wait a minute. Would
that
Killer
Klaus a tag team
and Killer Clown be a tag team?
They should have been a tag team. Yeah. Can you imagine that? Killer Klaus and Killer Khan.
They could call their finish the Meat Eater.
They could.
Fetus Breaker.
Amazing. The Fetus Breaker.
All right. Anyway, so they stated when he went to the premiere at the old Cinema Metropolitan in Rome,
this thing had
the producer. Yeah, it was with the premiere. I guess this happened in Rome. Let's
Italy. Go to the premiere of Antropophagus.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
so only a few people were in the theater watching.
And shocking.
So wasn't a sellout. So check this out. During the film, people kept walking out.
No way.
Until only a single couple remained. Later, during the scene where the pregnant woman was strangled and had her fetus ripped out of her, the couple got up and walked off offended. All right. In real life, the effect was achieved using a skin. This is how it was done. The effect was using a skinned rabbit and was something new and very disturbing for the time.
Mm-hmm.
So Luigi, the producer, ended up the ones only left watching the rest of the film.
So I have a couple questions. So there were
Yeah.
people walking out before the fetus scene.
Yeah, they're probably bored as shit because
I
there's
was about to
nothing
say probably
going
walked out
on.
because they're fucking bored. Because
All we
nothing
got was
happens.
some drama.
Nothing
No,
happens up
nothing
until about
happens.
20 minutes before the end of the movie.
Yeah, to be honest with you, they probably saw that fake head in the bucket and they're like, "This ain't no, brother." All
I mean,
right? I ain't doing this.
the cannibal doesn't even show up until about 20 minutes before the end, right? 20, 25 minutes, something like that.
Well, he kind of shows up at the beginning and he's around, but you won't see his face.
Well,
His
right, true. He's around. Yeah, you're
disfigured
right.
mullet face or whatever.
Yeah, because technically he's in the very first scene, which was fucking confusing, which we'll get to in a minute. But
yeah,
but the but yeah, like it's like one of those things. Like, why were people walking out of this? Because I've always wondered about that because there's a famous interview with people who saw The Exorcist. They were supposed to be showing how shocking The Exorcist is.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I watched 10 minutes of it and I just couldn't stand anymore. I was so scary I left. I'm like, there is nothing that happens in the first 10 minutes of The Exorcist that makes you walk out of it.
Yeah.
There's no way. But in this movie, these people were leaving because it was fucking bored and because they probably couldn't see anything because this entire damn movie was shot in available light. Like they didn't have lighting for this goddamn thing. It was just like whatever sunlight they had, that's what we're using.
So this is how this can work today.
Yeah.
Okay. Because if you remember, a lot of the Terrifier movies, especially number 2, I think it started with number 2. A lot of the reports would be people would like run out of the theater because it was so disgusting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was so nasty. I couldn't handle it. Wait till you see the bedroom scene or something like that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so that made people want to go watch the shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, this movie's all fucked up. Like I say, this article when it came out like nowadays of like, oh yes, we did a filming and we had this huge crowd. You just make it up. All right. We had this huge crowd and everybody couldn't last until the end of the film because they're so shocked and terrored, especially when we do the cave. Well, I called it the dungeon level scene. When we do that scene, brother, wait till you see it. Now, the difference is obviously in Terrifier, we actually have good prosthetic gore because, you know, of the times we're in.
Sure.
But fucking this movie, hell no, brother. Like that was supposed to be a skinned rabbit. I look like what the hell's a fetus bag anyway?
No, but they actually did use a skinned rabbit. So like if you made a movie and you used a skinned rabbit in your movie to, you know, like shut down, people would lose their fucking minds.
Yeah. So this is a crazy story. So this movie is not starting off too hot for these guys.
You don't
okay.
Say.
So a couple of things. As of June 12, 2005, the film has passed uncut with an 18 certificate for strong gore, violence, and horror under the title Savage Land. Okay. So according to Joe, some of the heads and bones in the catacombs were plastic. All right. Upon collecting, check this out. Upon collecting them after the scene had been shot, the crew accidentally took with them some real bones.
Uh-oh.
All right. Since JoeDAmato did not dare to return them, he let them make a pilgrimage of his house. So,
okay.
I guess he had him at his house to admire the bones around there. Okay. Like we said before, this film was submitted for reclassification in the UK after being banned for 18 years. I mean, fuck, like why? I mean, just because
it was banned in England because they banned everything.
So the uncut. So I like this one too, and this sounds like a fuck you to them in a way. So the uncut version of this film was never brought to the BBFC, the British Board of Film Classifications. Rather, the heavy cut R-rated version was submitted possibly by mistake. Like, you're gonna take this full one with the eating fetuses and everything,
right?
Or you're gonna like it. All right.
Exactly.
So there's a couple of things in here. So the title that we kept saying, what is it called? Antro.
I have no idea if I'm saying this right. I keep saying Antropophagus.
Yeah,
and even though it has a TH in it, I say antro because English is the only language where TH makes a th sound. Everywhere else it makes a t sound.
Yes.
So that's why I pronounce it Antropophagus. So I don't know if that's right. I don't know what that word means. I'm pretty sure they made that shit up.
It looks like it. Well, I guess it was supposed to be a reference to was it anthropography, which is cannibalism.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So it's supposed to be a version of cannibalism in that one.
Yeah.
So a couple other things about the film. All right. Like I said, it was an Italian and German language. All right. And apparently this movie has been described as having a notable place in the annals of execution of gore. So it's supposed to be like known for its gore.
Well, it elevated gore a little bit because we've
Yes.
never had anybody eat a fetus on screen before.
There you
go. It also got a sequel.
Oh, what?
Yeah, Absurd is supposed to be a sequel to this movie.
Absurd.
So this was so good. They thought this was so good they made another one.
Okay, I've heard of Absurd. That's actually going to be on our list.
Yeah, we're going to do Absurd later, but it's I think that story-wise it has absolutely nothing to do with this movie.
Yeah.
But George Eastman is in it again, and D'Amato directed it, but it is considered a sequel to this movie, and it was released as Antropophagus 2.
Oh, there you go.
In some places.
Although the film is set on a Greek island, only part of the production crew went to Greece to film around the Athens.
Yeah.
The rest of the film was shot in Italy. A couple things. Apparently this is like one of like Joe's like cheaper films he's ever done as well too.
You don't say.
So yeah, I know. I'm surprised he hasn't talked about that fake head in the bucket yet. That scene was horrible. Yeah, he basically said in an interview. So this movie was probably the lowest costing movie of my film career. It made on a 16 millimeter film. And then blown up to 35 millimeter.
Yep.
He said I shortened the scenes where he said he shortened the scene where Luigi devours the fetus, which we talked about that was the rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, let's see. The vision of the film titled The Grim Reaper, which was released in the United States, uses music from Kingdom of Spiders instead of Giovanni's score.
Really?
So the original. So I guess the music, I don't know, whatever the version of Prime is the one that we watched, which I'm not sure if that had to be the English version because that's subtitles.
Right.
So we probably heard the soundtrack from Kingdom of Spiders instead of Marcello Giovanni on two of the ARP synthesizer. So this guy Marciello is the one who did the original soundtrack on a synthesizer.
Okay.
Let's see what we got over here. Some fun stuff over here. How about we do something fun over here? Let's see what the fans of IMDb are talking about when it comes to this film. Let's see what they have to say about this fucking movie. See if we agree with them. All right, let me pull it up over here. This one's a long one. Okay, they have one review.
Wow, okay.
All right. It's like I find one review on here. Let me see. Reviews. Yeah, just one. The film is floated around under various names. Man, okay. It says, I enjoyed, there's a bunch of stuff he says before this. But he says, I enjoyed this one. There's something about older horror films, even those with poor film quality, that have a value to them modern film lacks, which is true. I agree with that.
Yep, he's right about that.
And the cannibal played by George Eastman is a disgusting creature in his own right. I think the problem is like me and you have like good TVs, so we can see all this like bad makeup nowadays in some of these films. But you know, I could see it like back in the day, they probably couldn't tell if it was bad makeup or not. Even without the publicity or the previous cutscenes, now restored in maybe version, Eastman is convincing and works well. For what it's worth, the blind girl is also pretty cool, on par with the blind girl in Castle Freak. And I'm very glad they scripted her in this one. Decent plot, decent characters, decent blood and gore. Unless you're impatient with older films, this is the one that is worth your time and can see myself seeing it again and again if the opportunity presents itself. Make sure you get an uncut copy. You don't need those extra scenes to enjoy this film, but if you're going to view it, you may as well get the full effect and see what led to the banning in the first place. You're surprised what gets people railed up. So I'd say that's pretty honest review.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty accurate.
So we agree with this guy. I don't see like a name on here or not, but But I would say like this film is like, it's not my favorite, and I probably won't be watching it over and over again.
No, for sure.
But I do respect the simpleness of it. And I do like it where it did get banned, and I do like it where it was exploring at the particular time more raunchy gore scenes that we would see a lot crazier later. So, but Alison, everybody, I say let's get into it. Let's get into the full review of the Savage Islands, the Grim Reaper, whatever you want to call it. Let's get into it.
Get off! A flash of steel. An unearthly shriek. An icy breath. A knock at the door. Omens of evil. Warnings of death. An invitation to terror from the Grim Reaper. Innocent travelers trapped in a mysterious house, tortured by a malevolent force, destined to discover the hidden room in the realm of the Grim Reaper. One by one, he tracks them down. One by one, they disappear. One by one, they come face to face with the ultimate terror. And now, he's coming for you. The Grim Reaper.
So we start off the film. We have this random guy and this girl on a beach.
Yeah.
And this guy had the most 1980s headphones I've ever seen. You see those fucking things?
Yeah, those are amazing.
He looks like he was like a helicopter fucking dude. You know what I mean?
Those giant cans on his head.
I know. So the girl goes into the water. She's saying stuff. And this is when me and you couldn't figure out this film was like subtitled or not.
I was confused because they're speaking in German. And there's no subtitle.
I think they forgot that scene. It's like they forgot to. It's like when this went to the U.S. copy to be subtitled, they like forgot this whole scene. They're like, fuck it.
Like, why are we not supposed to understand this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just so weird. But anyway.
So basically, she's on the water. He's like not paying attention to her at all. He's just hanging out with his headphones and stuff. She's in the water. She screams for help a little bit. Then she gets pulled under.
Mm-hmm.
We see a lot of that pulled under in this film.
Yeah.
The guy's laying on the beach, and then we see a butcher knife. Then we cut. So this is when we meet our main crew. We meet Dan, who's trying to fuck on Carol and this other girl. All right. We meet Carol, which is the crazy tarot card lady.
Yeah.
We meet Maggie, which her gimmick, she's pregnant. And we meet Marty right now. He's like the husband of Maggie.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all about to like explore this Greek island to have some fun out there.
Yep.
In the Savage Islands. That's what they're looking for. So they run into this girl named Julie on like one of those like lifts. What do you call those things? Airlifts or something?
God, what? If you hadn't asked me, I could have told you.
I don't know. It's
like a chairlift, but
you're
inside. You're not sitting in a chair. You're inside a car, and it takes you up a cable car. Is that what they call it?
Cable car.
Anyway, yeah.
So they're in there, okay, and they accidentally run into Julie's camera and they break it. Okay, so now they Mari's like, oh yeah, what can I do? Can I pay for your camera? She's like, no, but you can like take me to this island.
Yeah.
was like, is that the same amount of money as your camera is? Maybe.
Maybe
All
it's expensive to go to the island.
So at first, I'm gonna ask you, Allison. At first, I thought this Julie girl, I thought she was in on it. You know what I mean? I thought she was the one who was bringing people to the island to be slaughtered.
Oh, okay. I actually didn't think of that, but yeah, it could have been because she could have been. But
it's my twist brain.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Thought we were gonna get a twist like that.
So they all pretty much agree to go because she said she has some friends waiting for her on this island. Okay. So now they're gonna meet up with Alan, which Alan is Carol's brother, and he's kind of like the boat guy. He's like the guy driving the boat. And Alison, I gotta ask, did you see this scene?
Yes.
Like, so they're all getting into like the rental car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they all get like, oh yeah, they all meet each other. Hey, this is Julie. This is blah blah. Is they all in? They all get into this red car, and then like this random kid just like walks into the scene.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, like it could have been planned that way, but it makes me think that he was just shooting that scene, and then this, passerby just walked into it. And he's like, "Fuck it, I can't reshoot this.
Yeah,
I don't have the money to reshoot this.
Exactly. Just leave that shit in there.
Good enough."
He's like, it's funny anyway.
Good enough.
What couple do you think walked out during that scene? The snoogey, the snobby ones?
I can't imagine. Like I'm just like, oh my god. Like at this point, you're just like, I'm walking out of this because there's nothing happening. And this is the worst looking movie I've ever seen.
We're only running like 5 minutes in, man.
I know.
Come on. So now we're on the boat, the yacht.
Yes.
All right. Dan starts flirting because he saw the piece of ass he's looking for, which is Julie.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you know what you do in 1981 to get a girl's attention when you bring her on a yacht?
What?
You bring her a Coca-Cola.
Yeah, man.
You think it still had the real Coke in it at this time?
No. I don't think so. But that was a big deal in Italy, though, to get somebody a Coca-Cola.
That is, man.
I mean, that's
he
American soda there.
He might as well just done marriage at that point.
Yeah, that's American soda there. That's not the Italian soda. That's a straight up American soda.
That's an American soda, brother.
For people who know how to make sodas.
Better get that acid in your stomach, woman. All right. So Carol's all upset now because Dan's flirting with her. Julie kind of denies it. She takes the drink, but she denies it. She goes, talks to Alan a little bit. Alan's like, hey, can you that's Dan over there. I like him and everything. He's an okay guy, but I don't like what he does to the Carol and stuff. And the reason I don't like that because Carol's my sister. All right.
Oh, wow. Okay. Plot twist.
Yeah, there you go. So now we cut, okay, to I could not believe this. Oh, then also too, Alan has her drive the boat and everything. You can tell that Alan and Julie are like flirting now. Okay.
Yes.
So we're getting all the relationships established first on here. So then we cut, and I could not believe this fucking scene. Okay. We cut to all three girls. All right. Maggie, Carol, Julie, they're all watching Carol do her tarot cards. Mm-hmm. And in the fucking background, this Dan guy is playing the worst guitar I've ever heard. I mean, what the fuck was he doing?
I don't know.
Like, get out of there.
Yes.
I don't want to hear your shitty guitar. I'm trying to tell my future over here.
Yeah, get out of the scene. I don't need to see,
he's like that. He's like that every asshole that goes onto the beach and like, yeah, girl, let me play you guitar. That would do it. All right. So basically, Maggie wants to know everything about her baby's future. Okay. So she asked, hey, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna be? Is it a guy or a girl? What is it? So Carol does her like tarot card gimmick, but the tarot cards don't tell her anything. Ooh. So then Julie makes up something. Then Maggie gets called away to go eat some food. And then Carol and Julie are saying like, hey, I don't like to make up stories about tarot cards because if the cards don't tell me nothing, that means whoever the future of who I'm telling is doesn't have a future.
Ooh, and she definitely doesn't.
She doesn't. So I'll wait till we get to that. So then, they're kind of going back and forth a little bit, Julie and Dan. So you can tell there's some tension between the two of them. Okay. So this part is also like kind of caught me off. So then we cut. Yeah. All right. And it's like we see Carol on the boat for a second. It's like the next morning. And Julia goes and talks to Alan. And they start knowing each other. They just start talking a little bit like, hey, are your friends going to meet you there? She's like, yes. Julie's like, yes, my friends are a British couple. or an English couple. She said English couple. It's an English couple that she met, and she takes care of their daughter, and then that couple like pays for all her vacations.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
So, like, and then she's like, I guess she's like, that's like she does programming too, and our boy Alan, he does medicine. Okay. So I thought that was a little like a lot of these details that we have to figure out here.
Yeah, that we're getting intrigue.
Yes.
And details. Yes.
It's like, yes. So now the big thing is apparently Carol turned heel on Julia like really quick.
Yeah.
Because she told Alan, like, hey, I don't trust this Julia girl. We shouldn't be going to this island because we're all gonna die.
Yeah, because we don't have a future.
And Alan says, and you'll like this one. and Alan says, yeah, that's all right though. She's been crazy. I can't rip those tarot cards from her. That makes her all crazy because she does that tarot card gimmick.
Yep.
And then the next scene, we see her just throwing the fucking cards in the water. I was like, oh,
I can't get this.
Apparently the way to get away from apparently the way to stop her doing tarot cards is to bring her to a killer island. Who would have known?
Yeah, I couldn't get those cards away from her, but she just throws them in the water for in the next scene.
Yes. So they all finally get to the island. Right away, Maggie hurts her foot. All right, she's a little clumsy.
Yeah.
All right. So then she goes back on the boat while everybody leaves. Like, oh well, you rest up your foot with the. I could not understand what this captain. I called him like Peace Way or something. I could not understand what his fucking name was. All right, but they all go and explore the village, and they all notice that it's like empty in there. All right, so it's all like empty. And this is when we get a couple of shots of the killer's view. All right, watching them making noises. All right. So now, you know, Julie and Alan are trying to figure out why there's nobody there. Okay. And they're thinking because the place has heavy tides, like heavy wave tides, that maybe a lot of people haven't shown up. Okay. And she you know, to just kind of like, oh, this is kind of strange. Okay. So then they go to like, I guess the town's communication center. All right. And Alan sees that there hasn't been anybody logged in until June the 2nd, which is about a month ago.
Right.
All right. And that was the last connection on the island. And Julia's confused. And I wrote in my sign, I don't know if you saw this, Alison, but there was a big sign in the background that said nuts.
Nuts.
It was like right there in the background, like nuts.
I love shit like that. It's also weird because they're in Greece, but the sign's nuts in English. Yeah.
And it was like nuts. It was like right in your face. Like,
nuts.
Get those fucking nuts, brother.
Get some nuts, man.
So now Dan and Carol, they're looking around to find people. They see a random woman in the window who looks creepy. So they go up to her in her house. They just walk into her house. Don't say hi or nothing. Just walk into her house. They go up to the top, and then the window, basically it says, go away. Like, you know, the window was dusty, and she like went with her hand, go away. And then they looked, and then now she's downstairs now. So maybe she has some sort of trap door she knew about. All right. So while they're walking to go find the lady, Maggie almost trips over a dead body, which all these dead bodies, didn't they kind of look like the dead bodies from Zombie or Zombie?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure that this is from the same era, so I'm sure they use the same kind of special effects for it.
Yeah. Now, they weren't as good.
Of course not.
All right, but they did kind of like have that same decomposition in them.
Yep.
So now we're back at the Maggie. Okay. And the ship captain, Stop Lease. That's where I wrote his name down. Stop Lease. I put a question mark by his name.
Yep.
She needs some more water for her foot because the water got too warm. She wants some more cold water. Right. So he gets the water, and guess what? He gets pulled into the water. Uh-oh. All right. And and then Maggie can't wait. So she goes and grabs the bucket and she pulls the water in. And Alison, what does she find? She finds the worst dead head I've ever seen in my life. I mean, this thing, like, you know, those like mannequins that are just like the head that they put like wigs on.
Yeah, that's kind of.
It looked like that in water. That's basically
it
what
was
it
like
was.
a mannequin. Yeah, it was like a mannequin head. It was pretty bad.
Yes. So it's fucking hilarious. So now the all the crew meets up with each other. And I did write in my notes though, like once they found the head, I was like, people thought this was real, and I put a question mark.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think anybody. Well, I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything. Maybe they did. Maybe they did in 1980.
Well, apparently the UK thought it was real.
Yeah.
All right. So now the crew is looking at like a dead body. Okay. And they go back because like, oh shit, Maggie's by herself. So they go back to Maggie. We see her shoe on the boat, and now the boat has drifted away.
Mm-hmm.
So Mari's freaking out a little bit, and then Alan's like, oh well, maybe the crew captain noticed that there was some danger, so now he's drifting away. Okay, that's what he was saying.
Sure.
All right. So now they're saying, okay, well, it's getting nighttime out there, so we got to go. And Julie's like, okay, well, let's go to my friend's house. Like, we didn't go visit them first. Let's go to them right now when it gets dark. That's why I thought Julie was in on it the whole time. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. All right. And so now they go to the house. Nobody's there, of course, at the house. And during this, we could see that Maggie's body is being dragged away by the killer. All right. Alan said, so our boy Alan is like the everything's okay guy.
Yeah.
That we see in horror films. It's like, well, maybe the town got terrified of something, maybe like a virus, so that's why they all left.
Yeah. No problem.
And then like Joey's like, nah, I don't really think so. We probably would have saw like more dead bodies compared to that one. So so now we could tell that Alan and Julie are also kind of like hugging up next to each other. And Dan sees it. He's like kind of jealous. But he tells them all to go eat. So it starts to rain, kind of. Actually, it doesn't even rain. It just lightnings. It's like lightning, no rain.
Yeah, because flashing lights are cheaper than water and rain.
Exactly.
Creating rain, yeah.
That's too much in the budget, brother. Okay.
And budget for that. Spend it all on this zombie makeup.
Yeah, exactly.
And coke.
So maybe you can explain this to me, Alison. So Dan says that John. Dan says that Alan is passed out because he drank a whole bottle of wine down his gullet. Have you drunk a bottle of wine down your gullet?
I have many times, and I do pass out sometimes when that happens.
There you go. But then he was up like 2 minutes later. So I guess his power naps work. All right. Oh, you like this one. Carol said, no one is listening to me. We shouldn't have come to this island of evil. Oh, God. Okay.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
I wrote down everything she said, everybody. All right. So it's like, it's like one of those crazy chicks that like, it's kind of like our boy from Friday the 13th. You know what I mean? The old dude that nobody would listen to. That's like Carol in this film. So she goes on just randomly. We shouldn't have come to this island. Nobody's listening to me. This island is full of evil deities and evil vibes. And it's going to destroy us. And it starts freaking out. And then one of the people, and then Dan's like, shut up, Carol.
Just shut up, Carol. We're not going to die.
Have you ever been around evil vibes before? I guess you could be around some evil vibes.
Oh, yeah. I mean? Oh, yeah. I know evil vibes. Trust me.
Okay. Some evil vibes, though. About to get you. Okay. So they're all sleeping. Julia hears a noise. Julia's now looking around the house in the dark with one candle, even though we saw the bathroom light on a couple times. She's walking with just one candle. She runs into Dan, who has a knife.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He heard the sound also. And then they're walking, right? And then a cat falls on the piano. Damn cats. So I guess the cannibal doesn't eat cats. He only likes that human flesh, brother.
Cannibals don't eat cats. They only eat other people.
So then we have this girl comes out of the bucket, and she's all red, and she stabs Dan. Which was cool scene.
Mm-hmm.
We found out this girl's name is Rita, and she is the daughter that Julia was talking about with the British folk. And apparently she's blind. and she's been blind since she was 5 years old.
Yeah.
All right. You don't sound sports entertained over there, Alison.
I am super sports entertained.
All
There's
right.
nothing happening in this movie up to this point, other than a head in a bucket.
Well, what part of you already walked out of the theater? Is it right now?
I would have already been gone.
Are you
if I
not
was watching this
entertained
thing.
by the chick who had blood on? I didn't know what she had on it. Was it
That,
red hair
so,
dye?
okay, so it starts to get a little bit interesting at this point, but we're like an hour into the movie now.
So
I did like this scene where the chick with blood on her was like stabbing them.
Yeah.
But like we're like literally a fucking hour into this movie. And we
gotta
minutes.
establish, brother. This is an island, brother. Have you ever seen Lovers Island reality show? We gotta establish the drama first, okay?
Right,
I don't got time for your killing. I got drama to do.
Yeah, I mean, like this was where it started to get good, though. Actually, so,
Yes.
but yeah, I would have probably walked out of this fucking thing. I was like, can I just skip to the end of it? Is where I was at when I was watching it last night. But yeah,
just get me to the fetus.
Just give me the fetus, Antropophagus. And here we are.
Okay, so now they're like questioning the blind chick, Rita.
Yeah.
All right. She's like, she can't find her parents. Rita's saying that I asked for help, but nobody's there, and I can't see anything. Nobody's there and stuff. All right. And she answered for them. Nobody did her answer, and she says she can only, basically, she knows when the killer's coming because she can smell him. Because he smells the blood.
I'm pretty sure. Well, I mean, she's covered in blood, but I'm sure everything.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure everything in that island smells like blood at this point. But smells like blood. Sure.
Like I said, we got some backstory from Rita where she can smell the cannibal killer.
Yeah, because it smells like blood.
Yes. So now we have Dan. He got cut, but not too deep. So the plan is Alan and Marty are going to go get some antibiotics for him through the nighttime forest.
Yep.
That wasn't really like nighttime at all. They probably just put a filter on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
They shot it daytime.
But they had to run for hours through this forest, all right, to get some antibiotics. This is like some Jurassic Park shit over here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Going down different levels. So while they go do that, now Carol is patching up Dan. Okay. And she is saying, like, basically she goes in for a kiss because remember, she's flirting with Dan the whole time. She wants some of that Dan Italian man.
Yeah, she wants Dan for sure.
Okay. And Dan's like, he's like, you know what? Maybe she gets some sleep. What's Julia doing? Oh, sick burn. So now Dan goes meets with Julia, gives her a little smoke. He's just giving this girl everything, brother. He's giving them all. You gave the girl a Coke and a smoke. I mean, come on now.
Exactly.
Might as well just fucking just start humping right there.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you get them in 1981.
So they'll talk about, Rita, she's gonna be okay and everything. And this is when Dan's like, you know what? You're the one.
You're the one.
He started going for a kiss. She's like, nah, Dan, I don't think this is gonna work. Like, I'm not really into you. It's like, you know what? Don't worry. If it's about Carol, don't worry about her. She's old news, man. All right. She's like an old friend. When I saw you, you're exactly what I'm looking for in a woman.
Yep.
And she's like, well, what are you looking for? And then he's like, not going to tell you. I'm just going to go kiss you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because this is 1981, brother.
Yeah.
I gave you a Coke and a cigarette. I better get my ass right now.
Yep.
You want me to buy you dinner? Us Italian men don't do that.
No.
Give me a kiss. So she goes in for a kiss, and who walks in? Carol. More drama. Alison's favorite thing in horror movies, drama happens.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So Carol sees it. She's all like, oh, fuck this. She's like, this is all your fault, Dan. We're here because of you. We're all going to die in this island because of you. And she runs away. All right. And Dan's like, oh, fuck it. Don't worry about her. She's crazy. Remember, she does that tarot card gimmick. All right. And then Julia goes after her. And Dan's like, oh, well, fuck. Okay. So Julia goes and runs after Carol the whole time. And not only we have running by them, but we also have running by Alan and Marty too. They find the antibiotics and they run back. They're just running, bro. They just run. They don't stop, man. Okay.
Yeah, they keep going through the forest, through the island.
Yes. So now this is This is when we see basically Carol locks Julia in the graveyard.
Of course.
And then she disappears. And then through the graveyard, Julia runs into John. I mean, not John. Julia runs into Alan and Alan and Marty. Okay. Let's see what we got here. So Dan's smoking. He's just like, you know what? I found the woman for me.
So I'm gonna
Julia girl.
Yep.
He was like, I gave her my best can of Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
That means something.
That's imported from America.
I know. That has to be like what? $10 a can?
$10 a can. No, I don't know. They probably made Coke in Italy.
Yeah, probably.
Local Coke.
Well, yeah, probably do the good Coke. All right. So Dan, he's smoking. Rita wakes up. She starts freaking out. I smell him. Dan's like, what the blood. Fuck? Well, he doesn't know that.
No, you're right. He doesn't know that.
Well, maybe Dan smells like blood.
Yeah, maybe.
There you go. So Dan looks around the house, takes forever. Rita's freaking out. Dan locks the door, but he locks the door while the monster killer is in the room. And at first, he looked like some guy from Hills Have Eyes.
I thought that too. I thought this was very similar to Hills Have Eyes.
Yes,
but not
some tall, rugged looking dude with a fucked up face.
With a flannel shirt, yeah.
But then I just called him, because I didn't really know his name this time, so I called him the leopard guy.
The leopard guy.
Looks like he had leprosy.
Yeah, he's one of those lepers left over from the fog.
There you go. Showed up out. But there ain't no cool pirate ghosts in this one.
No, they're not pirate. No, there's no cool pirate leper ghosts.
We didn't even get voodoo in this, like the other Italian island movies.
I know. This was not a good island movie.
So Rita's screaming.
Yeah.
Dan's trying to attack. He knocks the door down. Dan tries to attack the leopard, and my God, he was horrendous. This is the worst attack I've seen anybody ever do. Like, who does this?
Bad.
He fucking... Like, the knife is back here, and his face is right here. I wonder if you're going to be okay.
Nope, you're not going to be okay. He's going to get your face, but he's going to eat your face before you get to stab him, and that's exactly what happened.
First of all, this guy, Luigi and shit, he's a tall motherfucker.
He is.
So he just knocked this out. Bro, that Killer Khan movie and this Killer Khan and this killer guy, monster guy.
That would have been a great tag team.
So he knocks his ass down. He just bites his ass. He bites his, well, he doesn't bite his ass. 100%. But he bites his neck.
He bites his neck, yeah.
All right. And then Rita gets the fuck, I think she gets out of it. She runs out of there. All right. Oh, I did put in my notes too. The makeup looked pretty fake, but I will give them credit because we do have high definition TVs.
Yes.
So the crew now arrives. They see Dan's dead. And then you know what they do? The next morning, they just go for a little walk outside in the nice old forest.
Yep.
Walk through the sunshiny forest. Marty's slowing down. Alan talks to him. Marty says, we're all going to die. Just like Carol said, we're all going to die here.
Yeah.
All right. And Alan said, listen, those bite marks were humans. So we just got to get this guy before he gets us.
Yep.
And then, of course, they're all looking for Carol now. Because remember, she escaped.
Mm-hmm.
So they go to a huge castle. All right. And this castle.
Like a mansion, kind of. Yeah.
Yes. And this is when we get the plot.
Finally, we get the plot. This is how we find out. This is when we find out why any of this is happening. I'm long gone at this point.
We finally get the fucking plot, and it's like 20 minutes left of the film.
So the only people, according to that review thing that you read, the only people left in the movie theater, the premiere at this point, are the filmmakers. No, it's the filmmakers and the two couples right now. And the two couples,
because the couple doesn't move until a couple minutes later.
Right.
We'll get there. All right, so they go to this castle, and apparently this castle is by the Whipmen.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the Whipmen. All right, and then Julia tells the story of the Whipmans, where the wife and the kid went missing at sea. Okay.
Yeah.
And they were never found, and they're like a rich family, and the only person who survived out of the family was the guy's daughter. I mean, not daughter, but the guy's sister.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, the guy's sister was that crazy lady that we kept saying in the movie. She would show up at windows and be creepy. That was like her role. Like when they booked the story, she's like, okay, we need you to be in the window and be creepy.
Yeah, you're the creepy female.
And we're not going to
character.
give you any lines.
No, you're just going to be.
We're going to give you a little bit of a backstory, and most of your backstory is going to be written down on a piece of paper.
Yeah, basically, you're in this movie just because you look creepy.
Yeah. So now, basically the whole story of this, the Wiltmans, the stuff is you'll like this one. The monster guy.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll explain it. I'll explain like this. So they go to the castle. We see the Wiltmans' sister. She's tying a rope. She basically hangs herself.
Yes.
Okay. And we see her. She just jumps off and I don't know why she's hanging herself now, even though she was out the town for like many years.
After all of these years.
After all these years. Right now is the time to do it. Yes. And Alison, I'm not like an expert when it comes to like hanging. I know I never hung anybody.
Right.
I never watched a live execution like that.
Correct. Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure you don't just bleed from the mouth right away.
I don't know. Maybe you do.
Like, did she bite her tongue before she did? Maybe,
or I don't know. Maybe
yes.
I have no idea. I'm not a doctor, but maybe when you hang yourself, it can like break blood vessels in your mouth or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, she did that gimmick. So then, okay, then they go upstairs. No, they cut her down first. They're like, "Oh, who is this? Who is this? Oh, it's probably Wiltman's sister." Okay, that solves that. There she goes.
They do cut her down, but they don't move the body. They just leave it laying.
Just leave it there. I love it
for the rest of the movie.
Fuck it, brother. We don't have a Mongolian stretcher to get her out of there. Okay, we're just gonna have to lay there.
just gotta leave her here.
All right. So they go upstairs and they see Carol. Oh shit, there's Carol. Carol's all like, "Oh, what's going on here?" It's like, "Oh, some lady brought me here. She was super nice. What happened to her? Oh, she just hung herself." Oh shit, really? Well, she asked me some weird questions. She was like, "Hey, can you like pardon me and shit?" I was like, "What is going on here?" Okay. So that's all happening.
Yeah.
And then like while this is happening, Marty sees the boat. Okay. So now Marty and Alan are to go rescue the boat. Okay. Right. So while this happens, we see Rita and Carol and Julia, they have discovered that this Wiltman's sister had some secret passageways. Okay. And one of them was breaking a glass through a doorway. Okay. Because they were looking at some old photos of the family. And we could see through the photos that the guy in the photo was our monster killer that we saw at the beginning at the that scene of him killing Dan. He was there. And they found a journal, and that journal said that they had a secret passageway to the monster's lair. Oh, and you'll like it, this one. Okay. You'll like this one. And explain this to me, Alison, if you can.
I will.
Okay? So in the journal, she says that in a month's time, this monster creature came back and started terrorizing the town. So that's why all the villagers left. That's why all the tourists left. All right. And the cops, they couldn't do anything about it.
No, they can't kill the cannibal killer.
No, you can't do it. This one cannibal killer was too much for the cops. All right. Remember that for later. Okay. Because, I thought at first that maybe this cannibal had some sort of like magic powers where when he bites human flesh, he turns into like, Superman or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? No. Because he was biting some fetuses. You know what I mean, brother?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Maybe he got some stem cells in that bitch. You know what I mean?
Maybe gets the stem cells and then he gets superpowered.
You ever seen that South Park episode of them eating the stem cells?
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah, that was great.
Anyway, so they found out about the secret passageway. During this, Alan and Marty split up. Okay, they go find the boat. Marty goes to a castle ruined that looked like it was nowhere near the boat at all.
Correct.
But he was going there just so he could go down to the dungeon level of our story. Okay.
Yeah.
So he goes down to the dungeon level of this video game that we have that we're watching right here. He sees a bunch of fake plastic bodies. Apparently some of them are real too in his dungeon.
Apparently.
Now I get
they found real bones for this movie.
Now I'm not really sure why getting your boat, you have to go down to a dungeon. Maybe he was trying to find some nets or something. I had no idea.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. I can't figure out why he went there.
Well, I mean, they just said to split up, and I guess they needed something to lower the boat in.
I mean,
So he's like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go down to this creepy dungeon, and I will definitely find something to lower
the boat
us in. Yes.
Sure.
So during all this, he runs into his wife, Maggie. She's there.
Wow, because she's been disappeared for a while.
Yes,
in this movie.
So she's finally back.
Yeah, because she's been kidnapped by the cannibal for like an hour.
So she's there hanging out.
Yeah,
because our boy was just waiting for the right time.
Yes,
to get his stem cells going. Okay. So during this, we see Julie. She broke into the magic mirror hidden room.
Mm-hmm.
She walks up in there and everything. She sees 2 dead bodies, which I assume were the dead bodies of the guy's wife and son.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
That's I'm assuming.
I like that scene where she breaks the mirror and goes into the room. That was really cool.
That's what I just talked about.
I know that. I'm just saying it looked cool.
Are you not sports Okay, I did that joke.
Now I am sports entertained. At this point, the movie's pretty good. It's just getting up to this point where I'm like, holy fuck, when is something going to happen?
So then,
when do we get the flashback of the boat?
We're going to get that pretty soon.
Yeah, it's coming up pretty soon. So
we actually get it right here. So Maggie and Dan are talking a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The monster guy just walks in calmly. Our leopard guy has walked in to the scene, and now he starts having a little flashback. He's out there in sea. And explain this one to me, Alison. So they're out there in the sea. Obviously, they're starving and everything. We see the wife, and we see him. We see the kid, and they're both brunettes, but the kid is like a ginger, like me.
Well, it can happen. I mean, it can be recessive genes. Maybe his grandfather was a ginger.
There you go. You don't think the wife was getting the milkman?
Well, she could have. That could be possible too. That's the other option.
They were rich, so you never know.
Yeah.
So apparently, the wife says, "Listen, like, basically, the dad right now is crazy. Son crazy. He's burned up crazy. He's hungry. He's like, we're gonna eat. I'm gonna eat my son here.
Yeah, because he's dead already.
He's dead already.
He's not gonna kill him, but they're gonna eat the baby, the son.
Yeah,
so
and they're like,
survive.
And he sounds like what, 5? He look kind of like 5 or 6 or something.
Probably, yeah.
So he's about to get him, and the wife stops him, like, no, and then he stabs the wife, and that's when we cut
accidentally.
Accidentally, yes.
Yeah, he doesn't mean to kill her, but he stabs her accidentally.
Yes. So he does that, and then we cut back. So now we know that where he got his flesh fetish from eating his wife and kid.
Yeah,
but apparently not too much because we still see their dead bodies.
We still see their body, but yeah, he ate.
Maybe he only eats he only takes a bite or 2. You know what I mean? You can't upset your stomach.
Right. Yeah. You can't eat too much human flesh. You get sick. I mean, I won't go into how I know that, but I'm just saying that you can't eat too much human flesh or you get sick.
You didn't even cook it, bro. It's all raw meat.
You gotta eat that shit in moderation. It's like,
All right. So now he comes up and he's talking to, well, first of all, Marty sees him.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, what do you want me? What do we ever do to you? Stay away from us. My wife's pregnant. Stay away from them. And of course, he's going up slowly like some sort of 1950s monster.
Yeah.
So he stabs Marty in the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Knocks him down.
Yeah.
Then he grabs the pregnant wife by the throat. Okay. So far, I can see it's all fucked up. I can see where this is getting banned. And I'm watching like the other couple was. And then he takes his hand so slowly down Maggie's skirt, and he goes for the joy trail.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I think if I even saw this in 1980, I'd still be confused. Because I'm not like Mr. Anatomy guy.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can, with your bare hands, rip out a fetus bag out of a woman.
I don't think so.
Does he have like cannibal strength hands?
But I guess so. Yeah, he has that cannibal strength, but he basically just rips her open, right? He rips her stomach open and pulls the baby out
with his bare hands.
With his bare hands, yeah, because he's a super strong cannibal.
Well, we didn't see that much blood coming out of a joy trail or nothing. We just saw him basically grab it and hold it up.
Yeah, I was disappointed in this actually, because when I heard the only thing I really knew about this movie was this scene, the famous fetus eating scene, right?
Yeah.
And I expected there to be way more blood in this, but he basically just reaches down and picks it up and then like holds it up and then puts his mouth to it, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like it was kind of a letdown, to be honest with you, when we
But at
finally
the
got
time,
this
though,
far.
I could see at the time it being crazy.
Yeah, at the
And
time.
now that one couple,
Now that one couple was like, "Fuck it, we're leaving."
They're like,
now.
you know what? I can I can expect the dead head that looked fake.
Yeah.
I can expect Dan being, trying to fuck this girl, whatever. But
yeah,
you're telling me this guy ripped out a fetus? Let's get on out of here.
yeah, fuck that.
All right,
I'm
I
not
don't care
sitting for the 5 more minutes of this movie.
I don't give a shit about this. All
I
right?
can just imagine when George Eastman and D'Amato were like, "Look, there's only 5 minutes left. Can you not just watch the rest of the movie?"
I swear it gets good, brother. All right. But like, damn. Like, they probably were like really proud of that scene too, at the time.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, that's how we're gonna get everybody, bro. That's how we're gonna get them.
Yeah,
and everybody just walks
shocking.
out. So, but I did give a cult following, so we're talking about it. So
yeah, we're talking about it on our show.
So after he eats the fetus to get the stem cells, he's now rejuvenated, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
So now Carol, we see it right. I liked it too because he's eating like the bag for a second, and then we just cut the Carol.
Yes.
All right. Really funny.
It's very short. Like I thought he was going to actually bite into the fetus, and
barely does.
But he just barely does, and it's like, oh, it's so disappointing.
So now he did that, right? And so now Carol is asking for, hey, Julie, where you at, Julie? So she goes to Julie. She walks right past the dead sister, just laying on the floor. Mm-hmm. Okay. And she goes into the room where Julie's at. And then she just like off screen gets cut in the throat for no reason.
Yeah. Just to get her out. It's just like a reason to get her out of the movie without shooting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Julia looks over and she's like, some magical way her throat got cut because we don't see it. Mm-hmm. She falls down, and then the killer cannibal guy comes from the other side of the room. Yeah. And he attacks Julie. So he is now, maybe because he ate the fetus bag, maybe now he has Michael Myers powers.
Yeah, well, he does do Michael Myers type stuff.
It's true.
Especially coming up in a minute.
Yes. So now he's doing Michael Myers, where he's now stalking.
Yeah.
Julia, aka Laurie Strode.
Mm-hmm.
He's stalking her throughout the whole mansion. Okay.
Yeah.
And Julia, she gets Rita. They go up into the attic. This takes like forever. This is like the whole like 15 minutes of the film. They're up in the attic. There's still some Michael Myers stuff where he tries to open the door, but then he leaves because he's gone, because he's Michael Myers now, because he ate the fetus bag. They're waiting. Julie thinks everything's okay. He left. And then what happens? Just like Michael Myers, he rashes his hand through the roof and he grabs Rita by the head and he pulls her up. Rita's head's all bloody.
That looked cool too.
That did look cool. That part looked cool. Maybe they're like, bro, I swear there's a cool scene coming.
There's a cool scene. Okay? He's gonna pull. He's gonna reach down. He's gonna reach down from the ceiling. He's gonna pull her head up to the ceiling. It's gonna be all bloody.
It's like explaining to the people, please stay. I swear he's gonna do something cool here in a second.
Yeah, you love that fetus scene. This is even better.
So he grabs the girl's head, right, and he takes a bite of her neck. He's like, that fetus wasn't enough, brother. I need more.
I need more stem cells.
All right. So she goes down. I felt bad for Rita. Mm-hmm. All right. Blind girl dying and stuff. That part was pretty fucked up. Julia looks at her. It's like, oh, well, shit, that sucks. So she leaves. But then like Julia's like Rita, she was still like moving a little bit. So she could have rescued her. Nothing, but Julia's like, nah, fuck this. I'm out of here, brother.
All right. Yeah.
I've seen some of these horror movies. You're fucked.
You're fucked. You're not surviving this. I'm just getting out of here. I'll leave you for the cannibal.
Yeah, exactly. So she gets down there. Oh, no, sorry. I forgot to mention something. Excuse me. So while the cannibal is eating her and stuff, Julia takes like a piece of like pipe or something, and she knocks him in the leg. Okay. And then since he got hit in the leg, he falls down, like falls off the roof.
Yes.
Right. So it's a permanent, like kind of like Michael Myers, but he got shot 6 times.
6 times. Yeah.
We assume that he's dead. Okay.
Right. He falls into a well though.
Yes. So then Julia leaves Rita while she's still kind of alive. And she goes down to the whole mansion. She goes down and she looks. I don't know why she just didn't run out of there. But she goes and she walks slowly and she looks down the well for some reason.
Just to see if he's okay or whatever. Like, just get the fuck out of there.
Just get the fuck out of there. She just like looks in the well for some reason. He pulls her down because remember he has that great pulling power.
Of course, yeah.
So he pulls her down there. She gets stuck on the rope.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the bottom of the fucking thing. of the well. He comes up slowly like Michael Myers again, because remember, that's who he is.
Yep.
So she gets out. They're both tied to the rope. They're doing like some sort of rope match, like some bull rope match now. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's doing slow because he's Michael Myers, very slow, very calculated.
Very slow.
Remember too, my point from earlier. No cops could destroy him.
No.
No town folks could destroy him.
No.
He is like this unstoppable.
Yeah.
You can't shoot him. He can't do nothing. He's like this unstoppable monster killer creature.
Right.
Who's eating dead fetuses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he's about to kill another victim so he can get his power of blood. But then Alan comes in.
He apparently has one weakness, the cannibal does.
Yes, he does. So Alan comes in and he pitchforks him.
Yeah.
Or what do you call that thing? Like,
it's a pickaxe.
Pickaxe.
Yeah.
He pickaxe him in the stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy
explodes.
He's apparently just one. That all it took was one little pickaxe to the stomach, and he just like explodes. All his guts fall out. We can't use guns on him. We can't use poison. We can't use all this stuff. It has to be Dan's magical pickaxe to destroy this monster, deadly creature, fetus killing.
I thought this shit was hilarious. Like
yes.
Like he didn't just stab him or whatever. Like he like hit him with a pickaxe and his intestines explode.
And then like everywhere. They're all falling out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he's still trying to keep the gimmick alive.
He eats intestines.
He's a cannibal, so he has to be eating meat at all parts of the day. Every day he has to be eating meat because he's a cannibal.
Yeah, yeah.
So now he starts eating his own
intestines.
Guts.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And then he falls, and it's called the end. And just like in 1980 or 1981, when the theater
we all walked out.
End, we didn't see it because we probably walked out. But then me and Alison were the only two remaining.
Yeah,
finish this fucking film because nobody else has. I guarantee.
No.
All right.
And then we turn to JoeDAmato and say, "What the fuck were you thinking when you made this?
What the fuck were you thinking, bro?" So that ends the multi-titled film: Savage Land, Grim Reaper, Antipal, whatever, Cannibal Guy, Fetus, the Attack of the Fetus Bag Man. That's what it is. So
this was something else.
Besides this movie being boring, I did think the last 20 minutes was like pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the last 20 minutes was pretty good, but it was just so long getting there. Like shit I'm not interested in, and it was just like, holy fuck.
Exactly. So, but yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody. Killer Island month.
Yeah.
Starting off hot, coming in semi-hot. So kind of entertaining at least. So I was sports entertained by some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the ending was the last 20 minutes was pretty good. But yeah, what do we got next week?
So join us here next week on the Retro Blood.
Yeah.
As we continue this killer 1980s Island month, because we're going to be talking all about Island of Blood.
Island of Blood. If you didn't get enough fetus blood this time, just wait.
Just you wait, brother. We're going to make sure you get enough blood on this island. All right.
Island of
Gonna make sure the blood is flowing on this island.
This is gonna be great. I haven't seen this movie either, so we'll see what happens.
I haven't seen it. Hope it'll be easier to find than this one was.
This was a little
this was a little a pain. See what we do for y'all? We go to these hardcore movies on here. So but everybody, thanks for joining us here on the Retro Blood. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, the Blue Sky, the Facebook, all Retro Blood or True. What's it called on Instagram? True Retro Blood.
On Instagram, it is official_retroblood_pod.
There you go. Check us out on there. All the links are at the podcast as well, too. You can find them all from there. Check us out on Apple, Spotify. Rate us on there, please. Tell us we're good. Tell us we suck. I don't care.
Tell us how much you like Antropophagus.
Yeah. Tell us your favorite well, I don't want to say that. Tell us your favorite stories of some island creatures on there eating stem cells. Okay. And if y'all have a movie recommendation that we haven't done on the show yet, which I do have some in the works.
Yeah.
retroblood69@gmail. You can also email us on there about some stories. You can email us about anything. If you have some horror movie stories, maybe you have some movies that we've done before in the past, you want to give us your thoughts about them, we'll read them live on the air. We'll do that too. Yeah, and of course, for all of our YouTube listeners on there, thanks so much for making the YouTube channel fun on here. And keep commenting below. we'll comment back to you and everything. But yeah, appreciate everybody for checking us out. Like and subscribe to the Retro Blood.
Do it. Subscribe to the YouTubes or anywhere.
Yes, everywhere and anywhere. You can hear our sweet voices, or you can watch our sweet faces.
You can watch us because
see. Look, I made the background better, so we're all good.
No, you didn't make the background better.
Come on now.
You have stuff in the background too, just like I have all my McDonald's stuff.
There we go, man. That's the way to do it. Got that new Terrifier one right there.
I saw that. I like that.
All right. Well, Alison, for all the podcast listeners, obviously we're probably playing Don't Fear the Reaper.
Don't Fear the Reaper. Yeah.
They'll play that right now. There was a lot of fear in the Reaper on this one. Apparently, all the cops of this island, all the villagers and the tourists feared the one Reaper known as the killer monster Cannibal Man.
Yes. The Antropophagus.
Good thing we had Alan to save
us with his magical pickaxe.
This magical pickaxe. So
I could just see, like, as soon as he hit him with the pickaxe, the Don't Fear the Reaper starts with the
no. Yeah, exactly.
That'd be great.
Good to go. All right, everybody. JH Austin, James Kline. We'll see y'all later.
See you guys.
Later.